Hey everybody, what's up from Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Speaking of never going out of style, it's finally here. I've been waiting for 18 months, but my PSA order from February of 2021 has finally arrived, and I'm really excited to share these cards with you. Now this is a smaller order, this one was only 35 cards, and these are all extras in my collection that I intended to get graded with the purpose of reselling. So by the time this video goes live, I should have photos of all these taken, listings put up on my eBay store, and I'll go ahead and leave a link for that store down in the description below. So if you see anything you're interested in, send me an offer and we'll see if we can make a deal. But anyway, I'm really excited about this because one, it demonstrates that my pre-grading was pretty accurate for most of these cards. Number two, it's just great to finally see them back. Number three, there's some pretty cool cards in this submission, going as far back as first edition base set and all the way to some first edition Neo cards. So anyway, guys, let's roll into the return. All right, we'll kick things off with some first edition base set cards. The first one I had was one of the few remaining ungraded holographics I have. This is the first edition Chansey. It's got the thin stamp on it. And this one actually graded exactly what I thought it would at a PSA 6, excellent to mint. It's got some light holographic surface scratches, as well as a little bit of edge wear in the corners, on the sides. Very characteristic of a PSA 6 card, but Chansey, very playable back in the day, and one of my personal favorites from the base set. The next card from base, we've got a first edition Dugtrio. I sent in a few different non-holo rares, and they were on the borderline, I would say, between PSA 8 and 9. I think these grades are fair, though. Dugtrio got an 8. You can see it does have a little bit of edge wear in the corners, a little bit up top. Then next we have Electabuzz, another one of the non-holo rares. Again, another card that was very playable when Pokemon first came out. And then the third non-holographic rare that I sent from base set was the Pidgeotto, which I know this is maybe a bit controversial, but Pidgeotto is actually my personal favorite out of the non-holo rares. I'd be curious to hear from you guys which one is your favorite. I know a lot of people like the Dragonair, but because Ash had a Pidgeotto in the anime, I think that's what draws me to Pidgeotto. Now, I also sent in some of the starters, and we've got a Bulbasaur that came back as a 9. Very solid grade for the Bulbasaur. If you guys remember the stock memes and stuff back in 2020, when Bulbasaur was going for 10, 12K in PSA 10, and rumored to go for $30,000, a bit excessive. But a 9, I'm perfectly happy with a 9 for these base set commons and uncommons. The second Bulbasaur came back a little bit under what I thought. This one was a 7. I was anticipating a PSA 8 on this one. As you can see, the back is very clean, so little white dot in the edge in the corner. But usually when we're talking PSA 7s, they allow quite a bit more edge wear. So I'm a little bit surprised on that one, but again, there's not a lot of complaining between a PSA 7 and a PSA 8. I sent in 3 Charmanders. This one came back a 9. Again, on the starters, 9 is a really solid grade. You're not going to hear me complain about that at all. I thought maybe one of these would have a potential for a 10, but again, those 10s are very difficult to get, even on cards that are pack fresh. Charmander number 2 also took the 9. Very happy to get 2 9s on that. Again, Charmander, one of my favorite Pokemon. You can see the Charmander up behind me in my backdrop. Love Charmander. That was my guy playing the games growing up. The third Charmander, I figured one of these would come back below a 9, and of course one did. This one got the 8, which is still a very good grade. When you think about it, an 8 is near mint to mint condition. You can tell there's a couple little dots of edge wear up in the corner. That's probably what held this one back. Next up, we've got Pikachu, and this is the Red Cheeks variant. Now, I don't know if Red Cheeks Pikachu is technically rarer than the Yellow Cheeks one. I know it's more desirable. And this one got a near mint to mint 8, which is a great grade for this card. Pretty tough card to find. Again, it's got a little bit of corner wear, top corner as well. Really like the Pikachu cards, though. It's one of the most iconic cards in the hobby, if you ask me. The second one I sent is special because this one is a gray stamp, and it is a very light gray stamp. Like, sometimes there's a threshold where people consider it gray when it's really just an off black, but this one, very ghostly. In fact, if you put them side by side, you can definitely see the difference between those two. The unfortunate thing is this one is the Yellow Cheeks version, and also it's only a PSA 6, This one has quite a bit more edge wear on the back side. You can see some down at the bottom, some at the top. Quite a bit on this right side, maybe a little bit hard to tell from the camera angle. But still a really solid grade. There's no large damage to it. Then to wrap up the starters, we've got a pair of Squirtles, another Pokemon that I really like personally. And both of these were right on the verge of PSA 9, PSA 8, so I could have seen them going either way. And this one got the 8, which I think is an entirely fair grade. And then the second one also got an 8. A little bit disappointed for that. I would like to have all of the trio in PSA 9, but that's okay. I can settle with an 8. Those dots are on the case, not on the card. There we go. PSA cases are just magnets when it comes to collecting dust. Our next stack of cards comes from the Shadowless set, which I love, and some of these are mid-tier grades, which I typically wouldn't send in from other sets, but since the Shadowless set is so popular, there still is a little bit of resale value to these, so I figured, we'd go ahead and send them in when it was still the older PSA pricing, when it was more affordable. Alright, so our first one is the King Turtle himself, Blastoise, and a near mint 7 is actually a really good grade for this card. Blastoise, one of the most popular Pokemon out there. And with a grade like this, you're going to find a little bit of edge wear, maybe some corner wear. This one's in pretty good condition otherwise, though. Then I actually sent in a second Blastoise, and this one only got the 5, which is an excellent condition card. You're going to see more noticeable surface scratches on a 5 versus like a 6 or a 7. Also, the centering on top to bottom on this one, not perfect, but still a really nice card, especially if you're looking at like edge wear on the back side. Not as big of a deal to a lot of collectors as if there were a dent in it or a tear or something like that. It's minor damage. Next we have Ninetales, and this one got the near mint 7. Ninetales, very popular Pokemon as well. This one you could actually get out of the Shadowless theme deck or out of the booster packs from the Shadowless set. There's even a error no damage version, which I know Nick, old school Pokemon, really likes. He's like the ultimate collector of those. Unfortunately, this is the normal one. Pretty clean copy, a little bit edge wear on the back, but not a whole lot. I'm happy with the PSA 7 there, though. Continuing the PSA 7 theme, we have Poliwrath. Poliwrath is one of the holos that doesn't get nearly as much love as the others in the set. It's never really one of my favorites either, if I'm being honest. A little bit edge wear up top. One that I do really like, though, and I know this is PK, Poke Knowledge Card's favorite Pokemon, Raichu. This one got the near mint 7 as well. And I really like the greenish, like white type of holofoil background. I think it accentuates the stars in the holo. Backside on this one looking pretty clean as well. Very minor edge wear, but no major damage. Near mint, I think, is a solid grade for any of these older style cards. Venusaur number 1 got the excellent 5, and I sent 2 Venusaurs in. This one has some noticeable scratching on the holo as well. Very common for a PSA 5. And then on the back side, we've got a little bit of corner wear, a little bit of edge wear up top. Still a solid grade for a Venusaur. Then the second one did a little bit better at a PSA 6. Again, you're still going to get some of that noticeable damage. And as long as we're shouting out other collectors out there and their favorite Pokemon, fun fact for you, Gary, King Pokemon, even though he's the Charizard collector that everybody knows, Venusaur is his favorite. Next we have Zapdos, going back to the near mint 7. This is the last of the holos that I sent in from Shadowless, and pretty happy with that one. I did grade one of these in a Gem Mint 10 years and years ago. Little dot down there in the corner. But again, very solid card. Happy with all those. In terms of the starters, I had some of those, so I sent those too. And Bulbasaur, one of the Gem Mint 10s that I received in this order. I think Bulbasaur has a slightly lower population in 10 than the other starters. I'm not entirely sure. I know it is with first edition, but I haven't checked with Shadowless. Then we've got a Charmander, also took the PSA 10. Really cool card. Again, you guys know I love Charmander, so I was happy with that one for sure. Go ahead and show the backside. I almost forgot. Then we'll move on to Pikachu. Again, you have the red cheeks and the yellow cheeks version. This one's the red cheek version. This one got the 9. Fair grade, in my opinion. This artwork has been reprinted and promoted in a number of different ways. Most recently in the Celebration set with the full art holographic. And then the second one that I sent in got the PSA 8. And this one I think was right on the border between the two grades. I think this one was maybe worthy of a 9, but that's okay. I think, again, a PSA 8 and a PSA 9 are sometimes negligible grades. You can see those couple little dots of white down in the corner. Sometimes that's enough to stay in the PSA 9 category, and sometimes it's not, so it's all good. And lastly, we got the Squirtle in PSA 9. So really cool that we were able to get all of the starters in PSA 9 or 10, including that that red cheeks Pikachu. All right, we're through first edition base and Shadowless. I have a few other odds and ends here, including a few cards from the Neo sets that I sent with this submission. All right, first we have a card that has never graded a PSA 10 ever. It's still a 0 in the population report, even after this one that I sent in, and that's the pre-release Clefable. When we get to the backside, you'll see why, but whatever they used to cut these from the sheets was notoriously dull and would just destroy the corners. So you got a little bit of edge wear here on every one of the 4 corners. That's a very common problem with the pre-release Clefable. Now, I actually do have one of these in my personal collection in a PSA 8. It's the best condition one I've ever found. PSA 6, still a really solid grade for this card, and that's actually what I pre-graded it as. So sometimes it's nice just to see the pre-grading skills intact. And I also sent in a couple unlimited Charizards, and a lot of the better ones that I've had I've graded over the years or I've stuck in my personal collection. But I have some that I've been sitting on for a while, not sure what to do with. And this was one of the better ones. Near mint, pretty good grade for a Charizard. When you think about iconic cards in the hobby, the Charizard has to be on the list. So that one was the 7. And then the other one that I sent in was also a 7. What I really like about this one is it's got a very red color to it. Like, you look at them side by side, and this one just really pops. So sometimes even with cards, you get a deviation in the color control and the quality, like the saturation, I guess. So that one I'm really happy with. Next up, we've got some Typhlosions. If you guys know Typhlosion 17 from Neo Genesis, this is notably one of the most difficult cards to grade in the entire Wizards of the Coast era. This one, no exception, almost always has print lines going through it. Got the PSA 8, which I think is the accurate grade. It's what I pre-graded it for. And, when you get those PSA 10s, you really want a clean, perfect, pristine copy. Even though that's not really damage, it's something that's just indicative of how it was printed. That's just the case with a lot of these Neo Genesis cards, not just Typhlosion, but pretty much across the board. Really cool card, though. I know a lot of people consider Typhlosion like the Charizard of the 2nd generation. See, this one does have a little bit of edge wear up at the top. Couple little dots there. The third one I sent got a 7. And I actually predicted that 2 of these would get 7s and 2 would get 8s. And a little bit of spoiler if you haven't watched ahead yet, but that's exactly what happened. Was those first 2 got 8s. This was one of the 7s. And then the second 7 right here. Which, again, you'll never hear me complain about grades, except for the 0.5 grades. I hate getting those. 8.5s, they're the worst. But I can handle a 7. I can handle an 8. When the cards truly deserve it, and in this case, I think those are both fair. This was probably the card I was most excited about. I love Espeon and Umbreon. They're 2 of my favorite Pokemon, and the Umbreon card from this set, Neo Discovery, is probably my favorite card of all time. And this one got the 9. When I submitted these 2 Espeons, I had flagged them as between PSA 8 and PSA 9 with a short outside potential of PSA 10. I wasn't expecting a 10 for sure, but we got a 9 on that one. Nice little swirl over in the side. And then on the second one, again, right on the border, I would say, between 8 and 9, and this one got the 8. So when you can get 1 out of the 2 where you expected it to be, I think that's more than fair. But I love this. It almost looks like it's walking across ice. Really cool artwork, in my opinion. And that makes up card number 35 of my submission. Anyway, guys, this was just an update on my long-awaited, long-anticipated PSA return going all the way back to February of 2021. Now, if you guys are still waiting on any PSA orders of your own from the backlog, let me know down in the comments, because I'm trying to get a feel for where everybody's at with that. It seems like they're increasing their output of cards. I think I read in one of their most recent service announcements that PSA is turning out almost 1 million cards a month. So hopefully everybody's orders will be back soon. I've got another couple orders out myself that I'm very much anticipating some that have cards that I think have more of a chance of getting 10s. But it's always exciting when you can get those PSA returns back. It's like being a kid on Christmas all over again. Like I said, many of these cards are extras for me and it'll be listed on my eBay store. If you see anything you like and you're interested, check out the link down below. But as always, I appreciate you guys for sticking around and for watching the videos and for supporting the channel. I'm Pokemon Classics, and like always, reminding you guys that the classics never go out of style. We'll see y'all with the next video. Till then, stay well, everybody. Hey guys, I just wanted to say a quick thanks to my patrons for supporting the channel. If you have any interest in becoming a patron yourself, check out the link to my Patreon below. For more market analysis videos, you can click on one of these two. They're pretty good, at least I think so. Anyway, you should go check them out. I dare you. I don't really know what else to say, so I'll just disappear now. Bye-bye.